What can tourists expect when visiting North Korea? See, the tour bus bounces along one of North Korea's pothole road, pop music blasting out over the speakers. It's a catching tune, and even though none of the tourists can understand the lyrics, a few are tapping their feet to the beat. The hit song "Without a Break" is by Moranba, by far North Korea's most popular band. The driver is clearly a fan and plays the DVD several times a day. Most tourists are busy looking out the window and pay little attention to the video screen at the front of the bus. They don't notice the nuclear missile being launched behind the old girl band, nor do they see it smash into our little blue planet blowing up the earth. Without a Break is about a nuclear destruction of the U.S., says Australian Mark Freeman, who has visited North Korea 4 times. Tourists dance to it because they don't know the lyrics, they don't know what the song is about. Travel to North Korea raises a number of sticky issues, not least of all the ethical issue of supporting a repressive region. For those who opt to go, it's an opportunity to glimpse one of the most isolated, unfathomable, and feared countries in the world. There have been about 6,000 Western tourists this year. It's a tenfold increase on the decade, says Goyo Tours General Manager Simon Cockerell. But when you sign up to visit the park to play by the rules, there are strict guidelines in the place about what you can and you cannot do. Break with the protocol or even be suspected of it, and not just the rest of the group back earlier, or worse, as U.S. military veteran Merrill Newman discovered. According to his family, the Palo Alto, California resident had gone on a 10-day organized private tour of North Korea in October. From photos and postcard he sent, the trip was going well, and there was no indication of any kind of problem, Sandra Newman said. The day before, met with Newman and his tour guide. The Sun added, "They talk about Newman's service record, which left my dad a bit bothered," according to Jeff Newman. Then, just minutes before his Beijing-bound plane was set to depart Pyongyang in late October, he was taken off the aircraft by North Korean authorities. More, U.S. deeply concerned about citizens held in North Korea, including Newman, getting into North Korea, unless you are invited as part of a business delegation. The only way to visit North Korea is by joining a tour. Depending on the numbers of tourists and whether or not it includes Americans, 2 to 3 trained guides commanders accompany each group. Aside from the hotels where tourists can roam freely between their rooms, the bar and the restaurant accompany visitors at all times. The guides are friendly and accommodating. They go out of their way to keep their charge happy, sing songs and ensuring there is plenty to eat and drink. The lavish meal with a big spread put out for every meal is all part of the package. The Depreck wants Westerners to return home raving about how much they were given to eat. American Kent Reuter, a lawyer, he visited North Korea twice and says he liked the guide and asked plenty of questions, but was frustrated when he didn't get a straight answer. Their job was to tell us whatever the government wanted us to hear, even if it contradicted what we could see from the bird's window, he says. More, in North Korea, what's real, what's fake? Florian Sido, a German localization expert for computer game company in Japan, said he got a lot more out of his second trip to North Korea because he had a better grasp of what was going on. He did some research, mostly online, reading blogs and scouring Google Earth images. Ahead of his second visit to the remote of the country and was wise on what to look out for in the region. Don't worry about being lied to. Worry about not getting the interesting information, said Cito. Guy repeats certain random things a dozen times, but when you drive right past the entrance to a concentration camp, they won't tell you. If you don't want to both, stay home. A key aspect of any trip to North Korea is the need to show reverence for past and present leaders. This means not only referring to them with respect, but also bowing in front of the status of king to and king to. Pyongyang has a number of status, so this can mean laying flowers and bowing several times on a week-long trip. For those traveling around the country, there's a king to son and status in every city. Koyo Tours, the longest running and most specialized travel company for the Depreck, advises in the route that they will be expected to bow in front of the status, and warns, if you are not willing to behave at some point as expected by the local customs, then we recommend you do not visit the Depreck. The potential for offense to be taken by the host, which then adversely affects the tour, is too great. Tourists still didn't enjoy the obligatory boarding, but understood that it was a necessary part of being allowed to visit. I feel like an athlete during Holy Maze. I couldn't relate, but I played along to avoid offending anybody, he said. Repeat visitor to the Depreck quickly realized that to get the out of the is to stick to the rules. There's a little point grilling the guys about politics or gulags because you won't get a straight answer. Every tour is carefully choreographed affair, designed to show the country in its best light, but much can glean on the drive between approved tourist sites. It's especially interesting when unexpected force a sudden change of plan. Australian tourist Freeman was on a tour of the Northeast when roadworks meant the bus had to take a side road through an old village. The guys got very flustered because all of a sudden they couldn't use the road they knew for us to say again. They even got off the bus and tried to reason with the construction guys. They were incredibly nervous. More, behind the veil, rare look at life in North Korea. He compares a tour of the deep park to the film The Matrix. The occasional glitches in the tour, then the bus breaks down and forced to make an impromptu stop out like the scene in the film when the cat walks through tries a crack in the matrix. So long as you don't break the law, disrespect the leader, wander off on your own, try to speak to the locals without permission, the North Korea is a very safe place to visit. Hayden Howlett, a New Zealand tourist who visited Pyongyang for the first time this summer, says it's one of the safest places he's ever visited. There are many countries where you can leave your bag loaded with cash, cameras, and passport and know that it'll be there when you return, said Howlett. Travel blogger Earl went up the props and cons of visiting his site www.wanderinghero.com. The reasons for not going were very convincing. Money from the tour would support the region and its repressive policies. Foreigners are used as a propaganda tools by the North Korean government by presenting as people who to pay their respect to the rich and leaders. It would be a controlled and limited experience, and there would be little interaction with North Koreans. But in the end, he decided to go and didn't regret his decision. I still believe the benefit to North Korea do indeed outweigh the negatives, he wrote on his blog. It's quite possible to visit North Korea and buy into the vision of the country that's overt, without question. Many do. Freeman was stunned by two young Australian women who announced at the end of their week-long tour that they are going to tell everyone back home that North Korea was nothing like what the media portrays. They weren't so naive, says Freeman. Have they forgotten that there are hundreds of thousands who are going to die in concentration camps? They aren't called death camps because people are executed there. They are called death camps because you stay there until you die.